So our league season ended very successfully, and we did confirm a place in the Conference League at least, but there's still a lot of football to be played by other teams, which could really change what competition we're in. It was a sixth place finish for ourselves, but like we say, there's lots of football to be played. The European Cup competitions need to have their finals played, of which there's 3 English teams involved. We also have the FA Cup final, which Arsenal and Liverpool are involved in, and then of course there's the coefficient to take into account as well. So there's lots of shuffling that could be done in this pecking order for European football. One of the ones that we're keenly looking out for is Brighton. They've managed to get themselves relegated but find themselves in the Conference League final, so opportunities for them to be playing in Europe next year and in the Championship. Those games are all coming up in the next couple of weeks, so we'll keep an eye on them. That'll confirm what competition we're in, and then that'll help us decide what type of transfer business we need to do throughout the course of the window. We haven't had the budgets announced for next year as well. I think they'll probably be coming either after the FA Cup final or after Lee's European fixture, so like we say, still lots to be decided based on the outcome of these matches, and we'll get to them right now. It turns out we didn't need flat football to be played for the budgets to be announced at least. We've got 61.5 million to spend. We had about 40 million left in the transfer budget from last year, so they have given us a little bit of an upgrade. The wage budget is around about the same as what it was, so decent amount, but we know we'll be adding to that with some departures from the squad as well. We've got our season review as well, so apparently the board aren't bothered about what's going to be happening. But unsurprisingly, Milinkovic has got the signing of the season. 13 goals, 14 assists has really been one of the big differences in the team this year. Been delighted to have him come into the squad. And then Kane and Anthony Jones as well were the other 2 big statement signings last year, along with the youngster Marcelo Silva Santos. All of them seem to have settled into the team quite well. Jones admittedly doesn't have the best rating, but has improved very much, and I think him and Chiriac over the course of the year did start to develop a bit of a relationship together and look to be a very, very solid centre-back partnership for us. A couple of goalkeepers obviously bought in this year as well, Pickford and Nunziante. I think Nunziante is definitely the better of the 2, but isn't too bad having Pickford around for a little bit of experience as well. Unsurprising to see this team as the starting 11 throughout the year. Definitely has been the first choice 11. Nunziante replaced Pickford halfway through the year, but probably had a similar amount of football. Probably would swap a few of them about positions wise, but yeah, it was definitely our most effective team, and I think they performed really, really well throughout the year. Obviously, to finish in the position that they did is definitely something that they need to do. Sintas got 4 goals in one game. That was in the FA Cup, where he had a real breakout for us. Obviously only signed him in January, but that competition he really made that his own, and although we did go out in the quarterfinals, I think he really established himself as the player of that tournament, at least in my eyes. Milinkovic has broke the record for assists in a season as well with 14, and obviously that big fee that we paid for Anthony Jones is our current highest transfer fee, paid at 39 million. But with us heading into Europe this year, it could be an opportunity to break those records again, but it just depends what's available for us and what improvements we can make and where. So the Conference League final has come and gone. It didn't give us any warning, it drifted past the match, but Chelsea won that 1-2-1. Out of all of them, I think this was the one that was going to have the least impact on our European football for next year. Chelsea already qualifying for the Champions League, but in terms of the coefficient, it's good that we did get the win. Nice to keep the English League boosted in that, so great result for the English leagues there. It is now time for the FA Cup final now. Arsenal against Liverpool. Again, not 100% sure what impact this could have. Liverpool have already qualified for the Europa League, so if they win, I think it could see it drop down. I think no matter what the result, I think this one could see a place drop down the league, so that's what we're really interested in with the outcome of this match. It was actually Liverpool who have won it, and they were the team that qualified for the Europa League in the league, so that could see it knocked down. like I say, not 100% sure what's going to happen. There is just so much. But with that, we have already qualified for the Europa League. I think it was that FA Cup final which has just knocked it over the line for us. So we've been upgraded to competition. Don't think we're going to be upgraded enough to get into the Champions League, and if we do, that's utter madness. So for now, we'll celebrate taking the Europa League. We'll still keep an eye on the Brighton game and the Manchester City game as well, just to see how those two teams get on, especially Brighton. That's coming up on the 28th of May. And it could be interesting to see if they don't win that competition, then a lot more of the players will be wanting to leave. So that could give us an opportunity to sign the likes of Evan Ferguson, maybe. And in his first summer at the club, new chairman Pedro Madeira has decided to withdraw the financial support. We probably don't need his financial support anymore. We are in a really good position. Obviously, we're making money off transfers, making good money in the Premier League, and we will be making more money from European football next year as well. But it would be nice to see a little bit of commitment from him. We miss Mark Stott already. But in an unexpected turn of events, Brighton have gone ahead and won that Conference League final, so they will be playing in the Europa League next year with us, and will be very interesting to see how they manage both playing in the Championship and playing in the continental competition as well. So we'll definitely be keeping a keen eye on Brighton. There is obviously some players who could be interesting. I think Evan Ferguson obviously is one of the standouts who would be fantastic as a striker for us. He's wanted by Liverpool, Chelsea and Everton though, so we do face competition for his signature if we do want to go out and get him, and it would be using up pretty much all of our budget as well. So it's something that we will need to consider. We'll get him on the shortlist, but what a signing he could potentially be as a striker for us. Manchester City have made it a clean sweep of the English teams as well, winning 3-1 against Paris Saint-Germain. That means for next year there is 6 teams in the Premier League competing in the Champions League. 2 of us are in the Europa League, and we've got Leeds competing in the Conference League as well. So there's lots of English representation in European competition next year, and it will be exciting to see which of us can come out on top. If we continue like we did this year, then you would think it would be a successful time for English clubs once again. But it'll be our first appearance in Europe. We are very excited, but we come in the Europa League, so it is the slightly tougher competition to come into above the Conference League. Are going to be bigger teams in there, and with the new format we do need to make sure that we accumulate enough points to get through to the knockout rounds, as we can no longer drop down elite European League either. So lots for us to play for, lots for us to try to be successful with next year, and now it comes to the time to add to the squad and see what we can do to it. One bit of good news already, Owen Foy has signed a new contract at the club. He's tied down for 5 years now. There's no release clause in his contract either, and just to add a little bit of a cherry on top, he's being called up to the England squad for the first time for a friendly in 3 days' time. So hopefully we'll be getting an England debut from him as well. But delighted to see him tie down his future for the long term, and hopefully we can bring in a little bit of striking competition next to him just to add a little extra quality in that area. Leo Sawyer is still wanting to leave, so I think we will be looking to get him out of the club just to keep him satisfied. Freddie Smith as well, he's played his time at the club, and yeah, I think we need to get him moved out now. Everywhere else, I think we wouldn't mind keeping the players that we do have. If there's interest and we do have to get rid of them, we'll see what we can do to strengthen. But I wouldn't mind keeping everyone else. Jordan Ross as a striker may look to be replaced. Like we're saying, want to keep Gerrard round purely for the fact he will be homegrown at club come the end of this season. So we need him to qualify for those European quarters next year. But we'll be keeping an eye on the squad, seeing what we can do. But if necessary, I think a spine of the team would be nice. A new goalkeeper to add good competition for Nunziante. Another centre-back just to add a little bit more quality and depth. maybe a new deep lying playmaker. I'm happy with the Mazzala, happy with Baldwin midfielders. Maybe we could have a little bit of an upgrade on Cathal Owens. And then another striker as well. I am happy having Dilly, Foy, Ross, Gerrard and Sintas all at the club, but they have been lacking a few goals between them. Lee Dilly the highest with 14, but none of the others breaking past 10 goals this year. So maybe an option for us to look for strikers, but it will need to be quality additions that we are adding this year. With the transfer window opening, we have already brought in a few players. These were pre-arranged. A couple of them are just youngsters to go into the under-21s who may very well turn out to be half decent youngsters, but very much under-21s players. One who could potentially break into the first team though is Paul Fuda. He was on the next gen list and we have gone ahead and snapped him up. He is still a breakthrough prospect, so isn't expecting masses of football this year, but if we can see improvements on him, he could fit in at right back, he could fit in the centre. So a nice little versatile player for us to bring in, and hopefully one that can improve quite a bit. He is currently injured, but he'll get over that by the time pre-season training begins. The first signing has been completed, Luigi Steenvoorden. We've been after him for a couple of transfer windows now. He's finally decided that he does want to join us. But as a replacement for Sawyer, he looks like he could be an absolutely outstanding player in that attacking midfielder position. We signed him for £33 million, so it is a decent outlay for the club. But we're making all of that back. Like we say, he's going to be the replacement for Sawyer. Sawyer's fee is £33 million, 32.5 will be added to the transfer budget. So effectively, we haven't really spent any money getting that transfer in. Bit of a like-for-like replacement as well. So I consider that a very good bit of transfer business for us, and we've got the first one through the door. Hopefully it'll be followed by a few other quality additions as well. Unfortunately, Evan Ferguson won't be one of those signings. He has decided to join Chelsea, who are actually stockpiling a few players. We wanted Marco Quinones last year as well. He's gone to Chelsea, and now they've taken Owen Ferguson away from us as well. So we are very disappointed in that. So yeah, we're back to the drawing board. We've been knocked back by Gerson as well. We've been looking at him for a couple of seasons and he still doesn't have any interest in signing for us, despite us now being in European football. Might be one that we can revisit near the end of the transfer window if he hasn't already gone, but there is a lot of interest in him from quite a few of the big teams, so we are facing a lot of competition to get him in. But I think as an improvement in that striker area, yeah, this guy would definitely fit the bill for that. We are saying goodbye to Freddie Smith as well. He made 151 league appearances across his time at the club since coming up through the academy, but he definitely has fallen off a bit this year. He is going to be joining Plymouth for £3.4 million up front. It's going to be rising to 4.6 though, and we'll get 50% of the profit from any future sale. So we will miss him. It has been great having him around, but we've definitely outgrown him. He hasn't quite grown with us as we've progressed through the Premier League. So the right time to move him on, and we will miss him. We'll give him a little parting message, and yeah, we'll see. Well, he's not very happy with that, so he can sod off. Another player joining the club now, Takahisa Matsushita. He is the Japanese central midfielder. He can play attacking midfield as well. I think we've signed him to compete with Patino in this deep lying playmaker role. He's 21 years old. He has lots and lots of time to develop, but I think he could be a great player for us, and like we say, it adds a great bit of competition for Patino as well. We also have a work permit awaiting for Juanlo Jimenez. He is a keeper who was signing from Napoli, and he looks like he could be the long-term keeper for us. Great attributes he does have, and if he does come over the line and join the club, I feel it would be such a brilliant signing for us. We are paying slightly over the odds on his wage to get him over the line, but yeah, I definitely think it's worth it based on the keeper that we would be getting. A few players are looking to leave as well. We had a few return from loan. Bazunu's got a few offers. Cathal Owens has got a couple of offers from one from Watford and one from Bayer Leverkusen, so he is looking at both of them. We have decided to offer Salim Gerrard out as well. I think we had the Score and Barley both become homegrown a club as well, so we've got the 4 that we need, so we can move Gerrard on. So he's currently under offer from Sheffield United and considering that. And then a few other players as well, Dimitris Stavro, Eric Ginzek, Michael Okafor, players who haven't really troubled the first team, also looking to be moved on. Juanlu has joined the club as well. 2 caps for Spain already, but I think we've definitely found our long-term goalkeeper. Hopefully he'll be with us for many, many years now. £110,000 a week, and yeah, we're maybe £100,000 over the wage budget. We do have a bit of transfer budget which I think would cover that, and yeah, but definitely need to move a few players on. Like we say, we've got a few bids in for some players, so before anything else comes in we do need to move out. But I think with the signings that we have made, maybe a striker is needed, potentially a centre-back, but the striker is the first port of call because we have made a couple of players promises that we will sign a striker. So we'll keep an eye out for one of them once these deals have gone over the line, and then yeah, I don't think we'll have much more room for business until or if we sell another player. Loads outward transfers have been made and we've managed to add about £20 million to the transfer budget. Ginzek has gone for £500,000, was never going to get near the first team. Salim Gerrard did go to Sheffield United. This one was for £7 million up front and £8.5. We do get a bit of the profit from the next sale as well. He wasn't a terrible player for us, but realistically he didn't develop out the rate we thought he would, and ultimately probably was going to get left behind, so feel that was the right time to move him on. If he does show a great deal of improvement, he is homegrown a club, so maybe in the future we could be reunited, but he is now at Sheffield United, so hopefully he can kick on and do well there. Another youngster who was never going to get near the first team, Dimitris Stavro, has gone back to Cyprus. Bazunu has gone to Norwich on a permanent deal for £10.5 million. Pickford's gone to Shakhtar, and Cathal Owens has gone on loan to Famalicão in Portugal. They are paying a loan fee at the moment, but they do have the option to make that permanent as well. So that's brought in £55 million overall in the summer. We've got £29 million in the transfer budget, so it probably will be enough to go out and sign a striker. The issue that we're facing is finding one. We did have a little bit of a reputation boost, so we did go back in for Gerson, but he still has zero interest in joining us. So we're going to hope that he does stay available for another year, see if we can snap him up next year, but for the moment it seems this one is a no-go. So as a result, we are scouting a couple more forwards as well. Yusei Taguchi plays for Manchester United currently. Doesn't look like the best option, but maybe one to keep an eye on. A slightly more appealing one is Vinicius Amaral. He's playing in Brazil at the moment, but I think because of that he's quite undervalued for what he could be, and he looks like he could be a really, really good option for us in that striking position and could add some real improvement there. So we are just getting a full scout report done on him. Looks like he could be a very good signing at the moment, but for the deal that we could get, £8.6 million, looks like we'd be pretty foolish to miss out on the opportunity. We've also made a bid for Sebastian Alvarez. He's a Uruguayan left back currently playing in Uruguay, I think. Again, and one who is pretty much for the future, but is competition in that left back spot for Hall and Lascore. I think it is a very good sign for us. So we've made a bid, hasn't been accepted as of yet, but maybe one which we could get over the line. So there is a business which is underway. We just needed to wait until we did get that money in for these players, and now it's back to the big business. We have had a deal accepted for the left back Sebastian Alvarez, and he wants a very reasonable deal as well, so happy to go ahead and just offer him that straight away. We have also made a little trial offer for someone who could potentially be a bit of a out there signing, but potentially great as well. Marcus Rashford is a free agent at the moment. He's 33, currently in the game, but he still has all the attributes needed to be a pretty lethal player in the Premier League. He's been playing in Saudi Arabia for a bit after leaving Manchester United. They sold him for £113 million. So, yeah, he had a pretty good time while he was over there as well. Quite good rating. So, yeah, looks like it could be an interesting signing for us. We'll have a look to see. Oh, yeah, so those wages could be a little bit of an issue, and even his negotiated wages could be a bit of an issue. But he's on loan. He's on trial at the club for the time being. Hopefully that'll get him used to the club, getting it, enjoying the vibe around the place, and yeah, could be signing Marcus Rashford at some point. Another little bit of money coming into the club as well. Jack Roberts has left to join Plymouth. One which we did use sporadically throughout the 6 years he was at the club. Came through the academy, but didn't develop enough. I think if we'd have stayed in the Championship another year or so, he may have broke into the first team a little more. But our rapid rise meant I think we were just a little bit too fast for him. So he's headed out to Plymouth now. They're in the Championship, so maybe found his level there at the time being, but again, another one who we could see in the future if he does show signs of improvement. And we have had an offer accepted for Vinicius Amaral. He's the Brazilian striker. He's 23 years old, and I feel he could bring a lot of improvement to the first team. So definitely going to see if he's interested in joining us. He's definitely got the interest. 62,000 is a very reasonable wage on a 5-year deal. So yeah, I think we're going to get this one over the line, and I think it represents a little bit of an improvement as well in our attacking options. With Gerrard gone, we're getting rid of Matthew on loan as well, so we needed a little bit of extra competition in there, and I think with Amaral we've got the perfect man to do that job. Will definitely strengthen us in that area, so we look forward to welcoming him into the club as well. We've also tried to sign Tithat Chob Manatam. I think I probably butchered that last name, but we've tried to sign him anyway. He's only 17 years old, so we've got lots of time on our side to get this guy into the team. At the moment, he isn't overly interested, but we will keep an eye on him. He looks like he could develop into a quality midfield player. So, yeah, one which we are keeping a close eye on his development, and will definitely be trying to bring into the team at some point if he continues looking like this. So we are just now waiting to get those couple of deals over the line, and then we'll really see where we're at with this squad. Obviously a couple of youngsters leaving on loan, but I feel we've strengthened in many of the areas that we had to if these two players do come in, and it should be a fantastic window for us. We're getting a few loan offers in for Lee Smith. No one was interested in signing him permanently, so he's got another season out on loan. Hopefully that'll gather him a little bit of interest come next year as well. We signed him dead cheap, so this probably is looking like a deal which is going to make us profit if nothing else, and hopefully he can go out this year, get his value up a little bit, and come back to us next year ready to get sold on and make us a little bit more money. Bartos has moved on to Atletico Madrid. Not really sure why they want him. He's not the best keeper in the world. Didn't really have the best of times on loan at Portsmouth last year, but yeah, he's got to Atletico Madrid. He's enjoying a solid career as a backup keeper with some big teams. So yeah, hopefully he'll enjoy a nice little time in Spain. One signing I think we've made which could be crucial comes in the form of our new head of youth development, Grad Spearings. I think with this man at the helm, he's great at coaching, great at the judging ability and potential, very good at working with youngsters as well. So yeah, I think this guy could help bring through a lot of quality through the youth academy. We've also been told by the board as well that they are going to improve the youth level once more as well. So everything in the academy side of things is looking like it is getting better and better. So hopefully the introduction of Grad as well will help see through a new golden generation at Stockport as well. For the time being though, we are having a look for youngsters from elsewhere, and one man we have found is Carlos Rojas. He's playing for Coruña at the moment, but he's available for £0 and 0 pence. It looks like it could be a quality addition for the future as well. Can play central midfield, attacking midfield or striker. So he'll be able to slot into the under 21s very nicely. Arsenal, LOSC, Ajax all interested in signing him as well. So he is wanted by quite a few teams. So looks like we could have a decent little player on our hands. We'll just ask our new director of football, Stuart Webber, to offer him a contract, and yeah, we're happy with all of that. He wanted a bit more than what Stuart Webber said initially, but we can afford it now, so we'll see if he wants to come in. £7,500 a week is still a very, very reasonable wage, so I think it could be a good little deal for us. We have agreed a contract with Sebastian Alvarez. He's just waiting for the work permit decision. Haven't made 5 appearances already. Have a feeling he might get one. So hopefully that won't stop him from coming in. We do have all of the ESC slots available as well though, so it won't worry us if some of the players don't get one. Striker Matthew and Lee Smith have both joined Coventry on loan until the end of the season. Amaral has also agreed his deal, so we just need to wait to see what the work permit situation is. But having those two signings, Amaral and the Uruguayan left back, over the line, I think we have significantly added to the squad as well. And I think with getting these two deals in, rather than getting some other ones which would have been slightly more expensive, we'd left ourselves room to negotiate some other contracts within the club as well. So for example, a player like Lewis Hall, he's out of contract at the end of this year, but just the versatility that he offers us, I think he's a player which we would be silly not to keep around. Can play in quite a few positions. He's been our backup left back for a couple of seasons now and has played very well. So yeah, we definitely need to look to keep a little bit of this wage budget spare, maybe a bit of transfer budget that we could potentially swap into there as well if needs be, to make sure that we can also strengthen within the club as well. So we've got options. Maybe looking to loan out Felipe as well. I really wouldn't mind keeping him around the club. If teams aren't going to offer us the wages for him, then they can get stuffed really. But Coventry seem to want all of our players. We might just make Coventry an unofficial feeder club for ourselves and see how many of our players that they can develop this year. But yeah, if Felipe wants to go out and develop, I think that would be the best thing for us. We'll just reject these other two offers because I can't be bothered to go through and negotiate them. Out of the two of these, I would Ruch Marley, he went to Firth. I think he would develop a little bit better playing in Germany, and because of that, sod Coventry, he can go to Germany for a year and get a little bit of development under his legs and come back to us a much improved player. Maybe was going to give him a little bit more game time this year, but it would still have been limited, so I think sending him out on loan again probably is the best option for him. But do have the option to recall him, so January could be a different story and we could end up bringing him back to the club. Obviously we still have Marcus Rashford here on trial as well. Have had Rafael Galinetta in on trial most of the summer. Again, looks like he could be a decent player, but not setting the world alight. Wanting to see if we do have other options in there first. But yeah, looking like we're progressing well with the squad. It's looking nice and healthy at the moment. Currently 27 people, a couple of those in on loan and a couple of those in on trial, Felipe potentially leaving the club. So operating with around a squad of about 24 players. So once a couple of additions come in, that would be 26. And I think we're operating with a very, very nice squad size at that point. Speaking of those ones coming in, Sebastian Alvarez is the first to get over the line. He's been awarded his contract and has been awarded his work permit as well. So we're delighted to welcome him into the club. Like we say, one who could maybe become a very, very good left back for us. We needed proper cover in there for the score. Not that we aren't happy with Hall, but like we say, Hall can play everywhere, and Alvarez can come in and be a more natural left back for us. So Felipe has got his move to Germany for the year. Still got a couple of years left on his deal, so we'll see how he develops this year. Hopefully he can come back, earn himself a new contract and be a fixture in our team from next year. And we've also got Vinicius Amaral through the door. He is the Brazilian striker. Hopefully this will satisfy the requirements for a couple of players who we have promised to strengthen the front line with. Hasn't popped up immediately that they're happy with the fulfilment of the promise. But I think he looks like he could be a terrific sign for us, playing alongside a Dilly, a Foy, a Ross up front. Just another one to add to the list of strikers we have at the club. So delighted to have him along for the ride, and think he will be a great player for us. Unfortunately, the number 10, which he does want, is taken, so he can be number 18. Alvarez wants to be number 3. He can be number 33 instead. And we've got some nice squad numbers for the new players. Everyone is registered for the year, and we're looking forward to getting on with the season now. It's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. We have another friendly to go against Juventus before then. Maybe another player to come in as well. Obviously, we did make the offer for Carlos Rojas. I think I'm just going to go ahead and change that contract offer as well. We'll offer him a little bit more money and a little bit more of an appearance fee, and just try to coax him to Stockport. I do think he could be a decent little option for us, although definitely providing more cover for the under-21s once he first joins the club. Well, Rojas didn't join us in the end. He's opted to move to Newcastle instead. It's his loss. Definitely would have been closer to the first team if he'd come to us, but he's decided to ruin his future career in the hopes of getting a little bit more money. So yeah, we'll leave him to stew over that decision, and once we finish above Newcastle this season, I'm sure he'll be ruin his decision at that point. Speaking of finishing above Newcastle, they are the team that we kick off with in the next episode, and it's a very, very difficult start for us. Newcastle, Arsenal, Manchester City, and with us having those new players in, we might have to do a little triple header just to see what they look like and get through these big games as well. It is going to be a tasty opening day of the season. I think we aren't going to be able to make any more transfers before then. Rashford will be sticking about on trial, but we're going to let him be around the club for a little bit more before we go back in and offer him another contract. He definitely wanted far too much money when we did ask his agent, so want him to get used to the club a bit, and then hopefully his demands will drop and we can go in and make a more reasonable approach for him then. And hopefully that as well will satisfy the promises that we have made to Foy and Jimenez about strengthening the squad up front. Obviously Amaral has come in, but he's a bit of an unknown quantity at the moment, so I can understand a bit why that hasn't improved that, but definitely need another option in there, and Rashford could be the man. But you will have to come back for tomorrow's episode to find out if Rashford is going to join. As always, please do drop a like down there and a comment as well if you have enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel for regular Football Manager content. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.